steals the show. And it's like, well, what happens when you're not a you're actually just a middle-aged man?
What happens when you work for a company that doesn't have a show?
Right.
I'm the off.
The show off. What do you mean? The show is off the air? I came to show the world. I came to show the world. Turn it off. No, I mean, like, what do you do?
We're not bad.
When he left WWE.
Yeah, I don't know. They cooled him off because they had him do nothing there for a good 6 months with Tomko.
Right.
His last big hurrah before that was, I think it was a Royal Rumble, and then he had that back and forth with John Cena that went on for a little bit. And then before that, there was like the creepy little bastard with Stone Cold, yada, yada, yada. But I think there was a big chunk of time that WWE was like, nah, I got nothing for you, Christian. Nobody.
Right.
No, I mean, there was nothing for you.
Right. That's very comparable to
But Christian went over to TNA. Christian made a name for himself. Christian got himself over. But the difference between Christian and Dolph Ziggler is Christian always had the tools. They were both and are both in very similar positions. For a very long time, Christian was the Dolph Ziggler of that time. He was always in the mid-card. He was always the guy that people would wrestle in order to look better, and he always gave you good matches. He could tell a story in the ring, and he wasn't horrible on promos. The difference is that Christian was far more talented than WWE gave him credit for, and he proved that when he went over to a tiny company, which in comparison at the time it was, went over to TNA and became a name. And became a loved name and became a competitor and was looked at in a higher value than he was previously. And then he went back to WWE and became champion and all that via dick kick on Randy Orton and spitting in his mouth. But that's a different story.
Yeah, it's very sexual.
Dolph Ziggler, if this was the exact same person, if you took Dolph Ziggler and put him in the same position, call AEW TNA at this time, I cannot see Dolph Ziggler becoming a main event material. I think after all these years, we've seen the best Dolph Ziggler has ever given us. Like, there is nothing more to him. With Christian, there was always something more to him. People had a feeling, believed that Christian had far more talent than was even shown on TV, because it always felt like he was
fucking be gone.
You know, Maniac brings up a good name in the chat room, which I would not doubt to see in AEW, but Teddy Hart.
Oh, Teddy, well, no, he's in MLW, which I don't know what their contract is or any of that deal. But
I don't think they have a locked contract.
No, I don't think so either. But I mean, I feel like Teddy Hart, a guy that, like, he works for GCW and he works for MLW. But still, at the end of the day, I mean, let's be real about Teddy Hart. The dude has some fucking screws loose. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want to build too much around the guy.
Well, here, let me throw this back in there. I know we're going to rewind a second. I actually have the article here. I wanted to explain, as reported by WrestlingNews.co, because I really want to make sure that everybody knows where all these rumors and shit are coming from. Apparently, the reason that Andrade now, because apparently his name got shortened on WWE this week, but Andrade is unhappy is because he was the NXT champion before Aleister Black took the title from him. Since that loss, Andrade appeared in the Royal Rumble, and he ultimately joined the main roster after Mania. During his current run on SmackDown Live, he had great matches with Daniel Bryan, Rusev, and AJ Styles. But with so many of the wrestlers on the rosters, several often get left behind. Almas had been used sparingly over the last few months and is apparently upset with the fact that he was in the main event of the last episode of SmackDown teaming with. Oh, okay, he was, and he's apparently upset with the fact. So he's upset with the fact that he's not getting more TV time.
I don't buy it. I don't
either. I don't either. But that's kind of.
I don't know.
I think a lot of these people are making up shit.
Well, here's the thing: if this guy's really upset with his position in the company right now, then bitch, bye. I mean, really, I'm sorry. Like,
right.
You know, this is what I think a lot of these people need a reality check with, and especially people from the fans' point of view, where they can sit there and they're like, "Oh, why doesn't he get? You know, why would you say that?" At least he'll be a guy on the roster that's big.
Yeah, right. Right.
They'll have an actual big jacked guy on the roster. One of them, is he very good? No, but they'll have one. I mean, not that Christopher Daniels isn't a big giant jacked guy, you know, but we'll have a big jacked guy.
I can't forget the women, the ladies either. Brandy Rhodes revealed this week that she will also be an in-ring competitor.
Oh, thank God. So this chick, I'm going to run the marketing department, and I'm going to get in the ring, and I'm going to wrestle. What else are you going to do? I mean, really? Jesus Christ, God. It's like, dude, at this point, it's literally like kids making their own play.
That's what it is. Like, did you ever see, like, WWF India or whatever it is? Like, and what it is it's these kids, right?
Kids in the living room? Yeah.
No, they're not even in the living room. They're, like, in an alley. And they got, like, a ring that's made up of, like, pillows and a sheet. And they have, like, cardboard ring posts. And they actually have, like, twine as the rope. And they come out as the Hindu Rock and the Hindu Randy Orton. And some guy is standing there with, like, a fucking transistor radio playing music when they're coming down to the ring. And they just do all these crazy little spots. It's like backyard wrestling on a whole different level. That's what this feels like this is ending on. This is just backyard wrestling on a different level.
I love the Hindu Rock. Are you smelling what the Rock is cooking?
Oh, it is too. It's hilarious, man.
I asked you, can you smell what the Rock is cooking? Why do you not tell me what is cooking? But that's it. It's now getting to the point where it's like, Elite Wrestling High School presents
Right.
It's a production made by kids at a school for fun with their friends.
Yeah.
It's all bankrolled by Principal Belding, also known as fucking just Tony Khan or whichever one of the fucking two goofballs it is that apparently likes to lose money. Kurt Hawkins. Okay, we'll see you there, dude.
So, speaking of the unbreakable contracts, did you see that Eva Lise has been freaking out lately?
Well, that's the Lucha Underground girl, right?
Yeah, apparently Lucha Underground to her is a nightmare. And I'm trying, let me see if I can pull it up here, because...
Why is it so bad? I don't understand.
They won't let her out. They won't let her out. No matter what she wants, they won't let her out of her contract. So I guess they're just sitting on her down there. Why am I not finding this? I had this pulled up earlier. What the fuck?
That's really strange. Why, though? I don't get that. Like, why won't they just let her go do shit? That's weird. Because are they even going to make another TV show? It doesn't seem like they are, right?
All right, here we go. So I guess she released on Twitter a statement, because that's all she can do. I've done everything in my power to avoid having to do this, but at this point, I literally have no other choice. For a bit over 1.5 years now, I've been battling Lucha Underground to grant me my release. They convinced me to do an S4 under the promise that I'd be released after the season concluded, season 4, sorry. And I was still unhappy. They currently are still refusing to do so, despite having been told numerous times that they would. Or despite being told numerous times that they would. This has caused me an unbearable amount of grief for so long now. I really have no words to describe and don't know what else to do. Being legally held hostage while pro wrestling is booming is a matter... Yeah. Sorry, I got caught there. Is a matter not to be taken lightly, especially coming from someone who has dedicated their life to their work. It's everything to me. I am at my wit's end, and at this point, regardless what happens from here on out, at the very least, my story is told.
Whoa.
I mean, you'd think that they were taking her in a back room and flogging her or something.
Well, apparently, WNC chat is saying in the chat room that Joey Ryan is backing up her claims that they're not letting her out of her contract or whatever.
Oh, I believe that. I don't doubt that. I'm sure they're completely keeping the lid on her.
But that's really strange. I don't understand why. Why her of all of the people?
But my point is doesn't this contract run out? Like,
right.
Did she sign an eternal contract with the company?
Did she literally sell her soul?
Right. I mean, was there some kind of deal? Like, was there some kind of deal made for the medallions? I don't know, man. It's just
you know what? You should never have signed your contract with Ursula the Witch in the room for the Little Mermaid. You should have known that was going to be a problem. If you don't do really well in this company and marry Prince Eric, we're going to take your voice. It's like, right. I don't know if you should sign that there, old whatever your real name is.
But I'm curious. I'm curious what kind of crazy-ass contract did she sign? Because if she signed some insane level contract, like a 5-year contract with a $1 million down fucking deposit, and she's 3 years into her contract, and Lucha Underground's like, no, we signed you for this fucking money. We're not letting you out. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I'm just curious, how long did she sign this contract for that it's this much of a problem?
Well, how much money did she get? A guarantee? Like, that's what I'm thinking here. Like, they'd be like, dude, we know you're not going anywhere. Why you
want the Chicago Bears as a kicker? Get the fuck out of here.
7 years. Well, I mean, once again, this is one of those instances where, yeah, it sucks. It's real bad. But what drove her to do that? And like I said, we weren't mentioned what is her actual guarantee.
No, and I'll tell you, Michael Corbin is saying it was a requirement. Like she was forced to. Nobody is forced to sign shit.
No.
If they put down 7 years and said all or nothing, she could have easily said, well, nothing. Right. I'm not going to give you 7 years of my life.
Other people in this company were given contracts and they chose to not do that. Right. You know what I mean?
Right.
So clearly that this was an option. But once again, we don't know what the money situation was. Maybe they said to her, and I'm obviously, speaking completely out of my ass here. I have no idea what the fuck Lucha Underground was paying anybody. But let's suppose they said to her, 7 years, $600,000 or $700,000. So they're basically saying, we're going to give you $100,000 a year to stay on board. And they're going to still pay her that?
That's crazy.
And she's like,
man.
Why won't you let me go make $200 a night? It's like, dude, stay home. Stay home, you kooky bitch.
Yeah, well, but we got into that before, though, too, because the exclusive contracts can really hurt you. Because, for example, like, look at what's happening with the NXT UK. I'm not trying to switch subjects, but that was one of the things that WWE was doing to a lot of those NXT UK guys, is they were locking them into contracts. And they're like, I want to go perfect my craft elsewhere. You guys are only using us once a year. What the fuck? So I can understand.
Presentation. They just probably sat down and talked with them, and they said, hey, we need you to do this, that. And they said, no, that didn't work for me.
Right.
I'm going to do that. These guys, guys especially like Strickland or Cross are probably like, no, I work overseas a bunch, so no, I can't be doing anything exclusive with you guys. I mean, we'll make it work. I'll work on the money with you. We'll cut a better deal, and you got to let me, go do what I want to do. But for her, like, yeah, I mean, that's what I want to know. Before this, this comes down to like, she was being whipped and chained and kept in a basement. Well, what did they give you? What was the deal here with the contract? How much money did they either give you up front, or are they willing to pay you over the years? And why aren't they letting you out of it? Right. Because here's the thing: if we're not making a show, but I'm paying you to not make a show, that to me sounds like something has already happened.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Like, it's like, why would I sit there and say, hey, you know how you're paying me for nothing? Yeah. Well, how would you like to not pay me for nothing? And you say, nah, no thanks.
And speaking of pay, flipping it over, Chris Jericho was on Talk is Jericho this week. And he talked a little bit about how he talked to Vince beforehand and how Impact offered him a deal before AEW did. But AEW offered Chris Jericho the ridiculous offer. Apparently, Chris Jericho is now officially getting paid more in AEW than he's ever been paid before, including ECW, WCW, and WWE all the years. So we can't technically speculate how much it is, but we know it's a lot.
I would be willing to bet, and this is just, I'm just like it, once again, just pontificating here. I'm willing to bet Vince had a conversation with Jericho, and it kind of went like this. Hey, Vince. Hey, Chris. I'm being offered a shit ton of money, like way more money than makes any sense to go do this thing with Cody. Oh, well, I don't know. I really wouldn't appreciate if you did that. Yeah, well, Vince, they're giving me enough money that I don't even have to worry about my kids, going to school, anything. Like, I wouldn't even ask this money of you.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so how long is it for? 2-3 years, Oh, well, all right. Well, would you think about coming back after that? Yeah, sure. Yeah, I don't even know if the thing will last.
Right.
All right, sounds good, Chris. All right, I'll talk to you later on. Okay, bye, Vince. That's probably the conversation.
It probably is that candid, too. I don't doubt it.
Well, why wouldn't it be? They're business people.
Yeah, but at the same, because people, for the most part, think that Vince is, you can't do it, Chris. You can't leave me.
Don't leave me stranded, baby. Baby, you're leaving me out to dry here. Well, no, I mean, is Vince a petty motherfucker? Yeah. But is Vince also smart enough to know that if somebody calls him up on the phone and says, hey, dude, listen, no disrespect to you. We've had years and years of a great working relationship, but someone is offering to pay me 2 or 3 times more than you are.
Right.
So I got to go play tiptoe and fucking footsie nacy nice.
And if anything, by him doing that, that was also a way for him to feel out if Vince was going to turn around and go, I'll match it.
Right. So why wouldn't he do that?
Right. I guarantee you, if Vince said I'll match it, Chris wouldn't have left. Fuck no.
No. Well, that's it. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, why wouldn't he call him up and say that? He has that rapport with them because ultimately this is it. If Vince gets pissed off, you motherfucker, blah, 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 go fuck yourself, hangs up the phone, okay, well, I'm still going to get that big fucking payday anyways.
Right.
And let's be real. Vince, for all the fuck you motherfucker, I hate you, blah, 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 you can count on like one hand the number of people that he really has done that. He's really motherfucked. That might have been worth money and never brought back.
Right.
I mean, really, stop and think about it. You got really off the top of your head, Carlito, who we talked a little bit about earlier. Carlito's a guy that could.
Did we talk about Carlito? I don't know. I don't remember bringing him up. Okay.
Yeah. I was talking about him when he worked Del Rio.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he's another guy that apparently they just motherfucked each other, and it's never happened again. And then maybe a guy like Kennedy, who in spite of all his bullshit, was a guy that if you really look back, you're like, he was a character. He could have done something for them,
yes. But
he just burned that bridge and pissed on it, and then turned around and shit on it, and then scooped those ashes up and threw them in Vince's face.
Right.
So that's just never going to happen. So, I mean, yeah, Chris Jericho played this right. If that's, like I said, if I'm just, pie in the sky pontificating what might have happened, he played it right because it was either money from AEW, Vince match it, or Vince motherfuck him, and then come back in a couple of years. Vince, yeah, sorry about that.
Oh, you know what? I forgot the one big name that's absolutely going to AEW now.
Oh, who's that?
According to Wrestling Observer and a lot of other places too, is Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega supposedly officially opted out of his deal with WWE. He's opted out of NJPW, of re-signing with them. And apparently this is to say that he is going to sign with AEW.
Well, we also could take into account the idea that suppose Kenny Omega says, hey, I don't want to work for this company. Hey, I don't want to work for that company.
That'd be great. He doesn't want to work for AEW either.
He doesn't want to work for anybody. Well, no, but dude, we all get this idea in our head that these guys just want to wrestle until their fucking legs fall off. Kenny Omega, he's probably doing all right. He's probably got some money in the bank. Once again, not married, doesn't have kids, doesn't have a drinking problem, doesn't do drugs. So if he's been making good money for a long time, it's not like he's starving to death.
Right.
And like I'd said, he worked a match for an indie that was around the Northeast, and I knew factually he made upwards of $30,000. I think it might have been a little bit more, but if I remember correctly, he got paid at least $30K for a match.
Well, you believed at the beginning too that he was going to sign with WWE anyways for the money. I was underneath the assumption that he was definitely going to sign with his friends, and it looks like all signs are pointing to AEW. Of course, it's kind of it was expected, because even though WWE could clearly pay Kenny Omega the amount of money that would make him comfortable, you don't know, or at least you wouldn't really expect coming from WWE as of late, that they would know even what to do with him. This is one thing I will say in fairness to Cody Rhodes, is Cody Rhodes did talk about writers. He had a big problem with the writers of WWE, and he said that AEW will not have writers, which he explains it as he wants the wrestlers to come up with their own creativity. I'm not necessarily against that. Actually, I think me and you have talked about that before, where a lot of the times it's the wrestlers that have a better gauge of what the audience feels or what makes the audience pop than the writers do. And we've seen it on many occasions. A good example is even Ronda Rousey had a really good promo that she had on Instagram this week, ripping Sasha Banks and ripping all these girls to shreds about the whole Four Horsemen thing. And it was fucking fantastic, but this is what came out of Ronda's own thoughts as opposed to what was scripted for her on television, which was cacas. So AEW is not going to have writers. And now you're bringing in guys like Kenny Omega that will not only have creative freedom, because that's the image that AEW wants to build, but he's also with his boys, and his boys are going to have his back. So even though he could make more money with WWE, Kenny Omega seems like he's a natural fit for AEW.
Right. Well, that's it. But let me also clarify this. You're more than likely right. He's more than likely going and, hanging out with his buddies and going to get paid.
Right.
But like I was saying, that's still an option that some of these guys, like a guy like him, might just like, I'm fucking done, dude. Or not even that I'm done, but maybe he just wants to slow down. Yeah, he's in great shape. Yeah, he looks like $1 million. But much like an AJ Styles, who are like, wow, look at AJ Styles, man. He's 41 years old and he's moving around. It's great. It's like, we don't know how he feels when he wakes up. Right. We don't know. You know what I mean? Like, it's just AJ Styles could be borderline at the point of a guy where it's like he gets up in the morning and he's like, honey, I need you to literally physically pull me up.
Oh, that was last week's rumor that AJ Styles was going to go to AEW.
Yeah, which once
that was last week, and not this week.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I got to keep up on my bullshit train. Choo choo. Next stop on the bullshit train,
Brock Lesnar goes to AEW. Although I laughed. Kayfabe News actually had an article with Brock Lesnar gets signed to AEW. I cried.
I saw that. Ooh, what's next on the bullshit train? Choo choo. Stone Cold Steve Austin's going to come out of retirement and jump to the Young Bucks. Choo choo. What's next on the bullshit train? Every week it's just more bullshit. Do. I don't know, man. It's just all of these names that you hear. I still stick by the point that I made. I think it was last week or a couple of weeks ago, where it's like until they get a guy, until I wake up in the morning and see I got 300 fucking mentions on Twitter, and I go, oh man, what the hell happened? And I see John Cena has decided to go to AEW. I will sit there and I will go, okay, you guys are all right. You're all right. We got a competitor now. We got somebody that can do something, because you need that face, you need that name. And let's be honest, Chris Jericho ain't it. He's not that guy.
No,
he's not on that level.
But he was the biggest free agent that was out there. I think Chris Jericho is the biggest free agent. John Cena is not a free agent. If John Cena was not working for WWE, I would totally agree. But John Cena's working with WWE. He ain't going nowhere.
I know he's not, but that's what I'm saying. Like, unless we were talking about somebody, like, and honestly, I don't think there's anybody really left.
Yeah, well, we went through this. We went through CM Punk. We went through Batista. We went through fucking Hulk Hogan. You know what I mean? Yeah, these are free agent names, but the price, even The Rock. Come on. Can you imagine the amount of money you'd have to spend? Not even just to have him on the roster, just to have a fucking appearance.
Just to get him to show up.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, The Rock shows up and he's like, "Hello, I brought my own coffee," and he just walks through the thing. That'll be $350,000.
You know what? And people would pop for that though too, if you really think about it. They talk about what an awesome moment it was when Rock came down to the ring and drank coffee and looked at people, raised his eyebrow a couple times, and then left.
So the Rock's wife is from a few towns over from where I live. Sonic in the chat room. He's from an area that's close to the town. She's from a town called Linfield, where it's kind of like a more middle upper class suburb of Boston. Okay, mm-hmm. And so he'll be in the area. Like The Rock is sometimes just in the area, just with her and the family and shit. And I remember a friend of mine who she was training for a fitness competition. She's like, I was at the gym and The Rock was sitting near me, and she's like, I didn't want to say anything to him or anything though. And in my mind, I'm like, you getting to even say hi to The Rock or shake The Rock's hand? There's people that have to spend $250,000 to have that happen.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, just the chance of somebody going up and even if just giving the dude hey, Rock, give him a fist bump, that's like, at this point, insane.
Right.
That is just something that people don't get to fucking do. No. But it was funny because I'd even said to her, I was like, and you were training for this competition? She's like, yeah. And I was like, if you didn't went up to him and said, hey, Rock, I'm training for this competition, I think you're awesome, and, just really wanted to say hi, he probably would have been like, oh, that's great. It's great to hear about. Like, right. He wasn't going to be like, get away from me, bitch. Like, it's just not him. But yeah, I mean, like I was saying, I digress. That Cena is about the only guy I could see being somebody that if I saw, John Cena is going to be working with AEW, I'd be like, whoa, that's the guy that they got. Mm. And for the people that are sitting there saying, well, he's 40 plus, he's cooked anyways. Yeah, so was Hogan.
Right.
Hogan was 40 plus too. He was done.
Well, didn't Batista start at like fucking 35 or 38?
Well, Batista's also, I mean, let's be fair, Batista's all natural. Right.
But that's what I'm saying though. He still started his career really late in life. Like, he wasn't a spring chicken. We're not talking about a guy who had 20 years in the business before he came on to UPW as the vampire or whatever the fuck he was.
Right. Yeah.
I mean,
what was he, a deacon?
That was when he came into WWE with Devon.
What was he when he was the demon guy? Or was it like
Leviathan? That's right. He was Leviathan with the vampire teeth and the crazy contacts. And
now knowing the guy, could you think of a gimmick that less matched him?
I know, right?
He's like, I'm goth vampire guy. And you're like, actually, he's like sparkly jeans.
Right.
Likes to lift weights, and like Sandstorm's probably his favorite song.
He's fucking Mr. Steal Your Girl.
Right.
Mr. Steal Your Girl.
Now you see, now that would be more of an interesting thing for me at this point than having either of these guys go to AEW. But to just have Batista and Dolph Ziggler sit down and legitimately talk about the girls that they've slept with in the game wrestling.
Oh, can you imagine how nervous Cody would be if Batista was hanging out with Brandy all day? I'm just saying, folks. I'm just saying.
Oh my god, I know, right? He'd be like, hey guys. He's fucking poking his head in. He'd be like,
it's like that one fucking. It's like that one. Oh, what was it? That one like Robot Chicken or some shit like that, where the nerd comes in with his hot wife, and she's in bed with another dude, and she turns around. She's like, "No, we were just playing Dungeons and Dragons, and I had an evil naked spell cast upon me, and he was helping me remove it." And he's like, "Oh, okay."
That makes sense. No, you could just see him like kissing, like going and giving Brandy a kiss, and just looking at Batista the whole time, just looking at him, just making eye contact.
Yeah,
like you stay away from her, you ruffian.
It'd be even funnier if Batista was looking at him the whole time.
Batista's looking at Cody.
Fucking just 9 inches deep and shit, just licking his lips, looking at Cody.
Just a 50-year-old man.
Oh shit, Mr. Steal Your Girl.
Just like, and Cody's just sitting there and he's just like, well, I just want her to be happy.
She is an important woman, and I value her equality.
Well, I'm just glad she's making her own decisions. I would hate to feel like she was in an equal partnership in this relationship.
She is the chief brandy officer.
If she wants to go get deep-dicked by a Filipino giant, I've really got no say in the matter. You know what I mean?
It's an executive decision, Joey. It's an executive decision.
Afterwards, you want to join my company and get some health care? Get the health care. He just looks at her, he's like, she's going to need some health care. Take her to the hospital.
Is birth control covered in AEW? I'm just,
Well, you'd assume it'd have to be.
Right.
Which, by the way, still, I mean, the healthcare thing for me is
that's
my biggest.
Another one. Yeah, that's been going on. Obviously, we all talked about that a little bit, but the whole healthcare rumor. Let me see if I can pull that up.
Did DT start talking about that? Because I mean, as somebody, and I know John works in insurance too, they must hear that and just like, they must have to like hold on to their eyeballs to not roll them into the back of their head when they hear that.
Oh, we talked about it on Tuesday.
Oh,
DT believes it's impossible to do. It's completely impossible to do, not because there's no insurance company that will want to sign them. There's no insurance company that wants to sign wrestlers. That's the whole thing. Obviously, DT knows a lot about insurance. He's an insurance guy. And it's like, if you want to, his belief is they're talking about insuring the employees, the office personnel, the staff, the interns. That's fine. The interns aren't stepping into a ring and getting their head caved in by 3 people with the fucking super kick. You know what I mean? The interns aren't the one that are going to be traveling all over the place, wrestling these crazy matches.
Right.
So his big thing is he just doesn't believe that they're going to insure the wrestlers because he can't understand what insurance company would even do that.
Well, yeah,
they're a liability. They're a complete liability.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of insurance companies that don't even want to give insurance to people that have high risk, just regular jobs.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's a lot of people that, if you had a job as, say, one of my oldest friends, he does sidings on skyscrapers.
Mm-hmm.
He's in that union, which I mean, it's fucking great work if you can get it, but it's also you gotta have a really strong stomach. But if you work for a company like that, where it's like, oh yeah, well, what do the people in your company do? Oh well, they go up in dollies, to hundreds and hundreds of feet, and they're in cold conditions in the wind and the snow and the sun. It's like, well, even they're going to look at that and go, I'm not so sure that we want to cover them, let alone if you say, hey, what would you like to cover? Well, you see, these guys, they throw themselves on their heads and necks multiple times,
right,
over and over and over again. Sometimes they do it on the ground, just right onto concrete. They just say, yeah, fuck it. They just do that. And they do. Well, how often do they do that? Oh, all the time. They can do it all the time. I mean, we're talking maybe 2-3 times a week. And so I mean, these guys, do they get hurt? Oh, they're always hurt. They're pretty much always hurt. So So what do you think we could get for rates? How much money do you think we could get for rates here on that?
Nothing.
Yeah, the answer is nothing.
Well, that's the thing too. Like even insuring the employees, like I don't even know how they're going to be able to do that. So Cody and the Young Bucks and Brandy are all going to have office positions, but at the same time they're going to be on the active roster. How do they do that? How do they do that? I mean, and you know what? To be fair, there might be a company out there that'll do it. I mean, but how much are you paying? Are football players insured? Baseball players are insured, but are football players insured?
Well, here's the thing: of course, professional athletes can get good health insurance because they got the money to throw at it.
But that's the thing. Is that what we're talking about here? Are we talking about the Khans raising wrestling to the level of the NFL? financially for the insurance.
Absolutely not. That won't happen. That won't happen because here's the thing: it doesn't make that money back. Like that's this is not, guys. It's a business.
I understand. I totally understand, and I understand that wrestling isn't exactly fucking pulling in people by droves anymore. But that's my thought on it. Is look, there are athletes that are insured. NFL athletes are insured. But clearly you're paying insane prices, insane premiums just to have these guys insured, which is covered by the team, to be fair. So it's like, are they just going to sign up everybody on AEW to the Jacksonville Jaguars? Is that what they're going to do? Is that how this works?
You're right. Is that going to be the trick? Like, isn't that funny?
Now playing wide receiver for the Jacksonville Jaguars, it's Hangman Page.
Hangman Page takes one snap. He's on the team. It's in a game where they're up like 38-7 and there's a minute and a half left in the game. And they just send out the entire AEW roster.
It's a gimmick play, folks. It's a gimmick play.
Playing quarterback currently is Zack Ryder.
B-Show says, here's a way that they could, if they are negotiating contracts, if they could, I guess, get insurance, and the wrestlers got quotes on them for individual policies, AEW can say, we'll give you an extra $12,000 a month for health and insurance.
$1,200 at least.
$1,200. I'm sorry, $1,200 a month for health and insurance expenses, like a stipend. Other than that, it's sketchy.
No.
But if that's the case, they're just going to put it in their fucking pocket anyways. Come on.
Right.
You know what I mean? They're going to put it in their pocket and somebody's going to a free clinic. I'm just saying.
Well, let's see. Okay. The average, so Cobra Health Insurance, which Cobra is typically used by independent contractors.
Sure.
Okay. The average cost of self-employed plans in 2011, so this is 2011, this is just me Googling, okay? And so it's absolutely gone up, was $5,000 for singles and $15,000 for family, according to the Kaiser, okay, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so $5,000 per, okay, let's see. So I don't know if that's yearly or monthly.
That's monthly, right?
Probably monthly. I think so. Yeah, so let's say, okay. Either way you cut it, anybody I've known that has ever had Cobra, they were like, it's fucking brutal.
Oh, it is. I had Cobra for about 2 months and I went, no.
Yeah, it's really, really, really expensive. So you're not going to be able to find this, dude. This is, and I can't remember if I said this on Tuesday or if I said this on, I mean, I've done a lot of shows in the past couple of weeks. I know you feel my pain, but there's a reason why you see so many people in families, like where it's like the mom and the dad has a successful business, let's say construction or something, where he's a contractor independently, right? And then mom works at wherever, 40 hours a week. It doesn't even matter as long as it has health insurance. And mom's basically working so that way the family can have health insurance. Like, it's not even to bring in the big bucks. It's just to have the health insurance.
Sure.
Health insurance is no joke, dude. It's fucking expensive as shit.
Right.
Like, to the people that are listening to this that aren't from America, like I said, there are people working in this country who are old as shit and could be retired, but they're not because they just need fucking health insurance.
I will say Florida health insurance probably is cheaper than Massachusetts health insurance or Chicago.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean,
you know what
my
I mean?
God, kidding me, fucking ramen noodles are cheaper in Florida than they are in Massachusetts. Everything's fucking expensive in the state. The only thing that's cheap is a bad attitude from somebody. That's all you get that for free.
Right.
But no, I mean that's it. Like the health insurance thing, when they said that, I'm like, man, they have no fucking clue what they're getting themselves into by saying that. This is fantasy camp. Like I said, it's All Roomba Wrestling presents.
Mm-hmm.
Presents. What would this one be? Let's try to think. What would this be a production of? Let's Try Our Best. Would that be the name of it?
That sounds like a good one.
Yeah. All Roomba Wrestling presents Let's Try Our Best.
All Roomba Wrestling presents Let's Pay Our Premiums. Fuck.
But, shit, bump my head. Well, too bad now. You'll have to die. Wait, that didn't rhyme. Shit.
Shawn Michaels, Joe, on an unrelated note, no longer wants to wrestle.
Well, duh. Why would he want to wrestle?
Apparently, he did an interview where he was talking about where people asked him if he wanted to get back into the ring in WWE. And he said, "You know what? No, they forced me. It was a really special thing, and I really felt that one for a while. I'm good with what I've done. I no longer want to do it anymore. The only thing better than having your own WrestleMania moment is watching and helping someone with theirs."
Oh no, that's how he should be thinking at this point. I mean, that match was really sad. That was really, really sad. And I think that Shawn Michaels in the past has been a real piece of shit. And I think now, even in his advanced age, he's probably not the best guy. You know, how a lot of people, they start to talk to Jesus the second no one else wants to.
Yeah.
He definitely falls into that category. But I think he's not deluded. hear about that.
Yeah, Dakota Kai, she tore her ACL, and she's now undergoing surgery. She's got she just suffered in December at a non-televised event. I think we kind of knew that. But I guess it was the match that she had with Kairi Sane, Candice LeRae versus Shayna Baszler, Jessamyn Duke, and Marie Shafir.
That's not a career ender, but it's definitely a career changer. I mean, she'll be out for probably 6 months to a year.
Yeah, she said she planted her foot awkwardly. Is backwards land. Like I told you, that's the place where they murdered all the predators on the entire fucking country. I told you that. There's no predatory animals whatsoever in that entire country.
Yeah, that's why Arnold Schwarzenegger won't go there. You're welcome. You're welcome for that one. Waka waka. I'm sorry, that was gross. All right, let's see. So, yeah, hospitals with the exception cosmetic surgeries. Yeah, so they have free healthcare aside from cosmetic surgeries. So
that's fine.
Well, I mean, could you, dude? That's really pushing it. Let me tell you, if you get free healthcare, you walk in and you're like, "Oh my God, it's an emergency," and they're like, "What's wrong, ma'am?" And they're like, "I need bigger Hooters." It's like, yeah,
it's an emergency.
What's the emergency? I have a really big schnoz. That's not an emergency.
What's the emergency? My lips are too thin.
Yeah, it's just, oh my God, ma'am, get in front of this woman with a fucking with a tumor. Knock her out of the way. Just knock JBL out of the way. JBL just looks and goes, "Hey, well, you know, she's got really thin lips.
Where am I? You know? Who am I? Where? I'm in New Zealand. I don't know fuck.
Yeah, she's got money, you know. What am I gonna do?
What is he, Jay Leno? Fucking JBL sounds like Jay Leno.
No, I just love the idea of making. To me, that's like the perfect voice of writing off something that you shouldn't write off. You know, like, oh, you caught your daughter smoking crack. You know, it's just crack. You know, so it's all done so, right? I mean, she got home safe.
It's like a Jay Leno impersonation. Like you should be doing a top 10. Jesus. Top things JBL won't remember in the morning. Number 10, this list.
Number 9, to unblock Jason Solomon.
Yes.
But fuck. No, that's sad. She's good.
Yeah, they're looking at 6 months.
Yeah, it'll be longer than that. They always quote people. Like, whenever they quote people for 6 months with the ACL surgery, it's like, I had the ACL surgery. It's like, yeah, you'll be functioning at 6 months. You'll be, like, able to get in the ring and do some shit, but you're not going to feel good. You're not going to feel stable.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, how long does it take for it to, like, fully recover to the point where we were at the place we were before?
It's never going to be 100. I mean, I guess there's guys in the to this day, some of these players that had their ACL torn and or had them fucked up, they still look at them and they're like, yeah, it's a problem. Remember when people would, and I'm sorry for bringing him up again, but he's my guy and he's got a fucking big game on Sunday. But when Brady fucking lost his ACL, they still worry about his knee to this day.
Yeah, I mean, still.
It's no joke, dude. The ACL injury is a big one.
Well, with Peyton Manning, they just sliced off his fucking shoulder in Sweden and reattached it. I mean, and he was better in 6 weeks.
Well, what they did in Peyton Manning was it was a delicate procedure. They removed a large piece of his forehead, and they used it to replace the torn labrum. Yeah. And then they reconstructed it, and it was in Sweden, so they just filled in the holes with chocolate.
I'm still blown away by that surgery. The fact that that's exactly what they literally detached his whole arm, fixed it, and then reattached it. You just had just the idea of that is insane. Like I was watching something earlier this week. And we're at the point now, we've had this for a while, but apparently it's now to the point where we're selling it in stores, is artificially grown meat.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Genetically grown meat. Meat grown from a test tube. Now, this has existed for a while. Like, I know that they were selling like a version of lamb for like $1,500 a pound or some shit, which obviously nobody was like, huh, you know, I can't get that at fucking Aldi. But now they're doing it to, I guess, other different types of meat and stuff like that, and they're genetically growing it to the point where it's getting cheaper and cheaper. And we're looking at in the next 5 to 10 years for this to be market ready.
I don't know. I don't know. You know, call me old fashioned, call me a conspiracy theorist or anything. But when it gets to the point where they're like, "Hey, don't worry, we're making the meat in test tubes," I'd be like, "I'll have a salad."
I'm okay with it. Are you really that worried about it? Matter of fact, I'm more hopeful of the test tube grown meat than I am regular meat. See, have you ever heard of the what is it with sheep that you have
to be nice when they clone the sheep?
No. When you have to be nice to sheep, Joey. You have to be nice to sheep because when you fucking stick the sword through their throat, if they have any fear at all, it taints the meat. It does.
I'm nice to sheep on Twitter all the time. I don't know.
There's an enzyme that animals have that if they live in poor conditions or squalor or anything else like that, that changes the meat. It changes the vitamins and everything else like that. That's why there's so much more of a price tag on free range anything, free range eggs, free range beef, whatever, versus hamburgers, versus McDonald's burgers and shit like that, where this is all in caged animals. So if you think by that kind of a theory and you realize that we're now making meat ourselves that don't have fear, that can have all the same nutrients, if not more nutrients, better, nutrients involved in the meat or put into the meat. Dude, I don't see anything wrong with it. I'm okay with it. I'm okay. Give me the space bars. Okay.
Each one of these chickens were given their own individual beanbag chairs.
Oh,
they were showed 24 hours a day. The first 2 Home Alone films, just on a constant rotation. They had a great life.
Foie gras. You know what foie gras is or whatever it's called?
I've heard of it.
It's basically, what is it, like goose liver?
Oh, yes.
It's like goose liver, but the thing is it's illegal in California. And the problem with it is the whole way that the farmers get the goose or it's goose and duck. Some use duck, and what they do is they force feed them like 4 times a day, and they take this giant tube that's like fucking 3 feet long, and they shove it down this 1 foot duck, and they fill him up to the point where it looks like he's about to pop, and then they pull out the fucking tube and then throw him back into the cage. And so the problem is a lot of these places feel that foie gras. I'm sorry, I'm not French. I'm not getting it right, but whatever. Foie gras is inhumanitarian. It's horrible.
Sounds pretty vicious.
But here's the thing, though. When they went to Germany, when they went to other countries and stuff like that, and I guess there's some places up in New York and Massachusetts, like some real big fucking distributors of this. When they went to other countries and stuff, the animals are free range. They were happy. But the problem is when they force feed them, they get their livers to these enormous, just God enormous sizes. Like you're literally looking at like a 3-pound liver on a duck. Just imagine that. You know what I'm saying? And what they do is they wait for the time, then they obviously, kill the duck or the goose or whatever, and then they pull it out and then they serve it. So there are like these illegal communities in California now that have these underground foie gras parties. and so they have like these dinners while they're all wearing masks and shit, sitting around a table eating foie gras, but it's completely illegal to sell in California. They even have vendors that don't sell foie gras, but if you donate a certain amount of money, they'll be happy to give it to you for free. So, but I mean, that's the whole thing. And where I was going with that is, here's the difference between the two. Now you don't have to even worry about things like that. If we have the ability to replicate meat, like in Star Trek, now we can just replicate foie gras. Nobody has a bitch. You know what I mean? Like that's my whole thing is, I'm not an animal guy. Like, I'm not an animal rights activist. That's like Kevin territory, and I think John is an animal rights guy too and stuff like that. I'm not that at all. But I don't want to fucking eat shit that's bad for me because it was raised in its own shit and filth and piss. You know what I mean? That can't be healthy. Have you ever seen some of those butchering? Like, I went to see one when I was younger. Yeah. Dude, when I was younger, I was on a field trip. I don't even remember if it was for class. Maybe it was a Christian thing. I don't remember. But we went to a fucking butcher's farm. And these cows were all smothered together, like literally line to line, smothered together, covered in shit. There was so much shit on these cows that it was literally like they looked like they were wearing armadillo skin of shit. And they were not happy. Some of them looked emaciated in the face, but their bodies were huge. And these were all butchering cows. They weren't even milking cows. They were butchering cows. And it was a meat lock. It was a meat farm. And it was just one of the most grotesque things I ever saw. And I think that was at the time that I stopped eating meat for a little bit. But it's not because I'm like, oh, I feel sorry for the animals. It's like, I don't want to eat that shit. Literally. You know what I mean? So that's why, I don't know, I look at this and it's interesting to me to be able to grow our own meat.
Hey, you know what? To each their own. If that's it, that's it.
Right. It's not even a PETA thing. Don't throw me under that, dude. I'm not a guy that fucking, I'm not one of those crazy fuckers that are like, animals' lives mean more than people because animals don't hurt. Fuck you. Right. You know, fuck those people.
And let's be real, okay? There's a true hierarchy of animals. There really is. Like when people are like, oh no, animals are the same exact thing as people. It's like, no, they're not. And honestly, some animals are really, really like with it, and some animals are totally not. Like if you said to me, hey, you got to kill this chicken to eat, I'd be like, oh, okay, that really sucks, but I think I could do it if I really had to. But if someone's like, yo, shoot this chimpanzee in the face, I'd be like, no, absolutely, no fucking way. Could not do it. Couldn't fucking do it. No way. No way. Oh, hey, cut this fish's head off. I could do that. I could cut a fish's head off. I feel really weird about it because I've done it before, fishing and shit. But like I said, like, oh, a gorilla? No, get the fuck out of here. A dog? No, sorry. No,
dude, if my family ate fish, we'd eat fish all the time. That's how much I love fish. That's just a preference. Like, I mean, not just fish, but I mean, I could eat lobster all day. I could eat crab all day. I could eat shrimp all day. I can eat fucking bluegill all day.
Dude, gotta get you some fried clams up there,
shark man. Steaks. I'm not a fan of clams. That's the one that I can't handle. Dude, it's just something about something that looks like you're sucking down a fucking load of semen.
You know, no. The fried clams don't look like that.
Okay, because I can't handle that, dude. There's just something about seeing about 20 dudes standing around a circle going.
No, I don't even like it.
It's not even like, oh, Bush is a homophobe. No, dude, it's not tasty. It's kind of a weird experience. It's like going to Joey Ryan's dick party at WrestleMania. I mean, I'm sure some of you guys will have a great time. I'm not going to be there.
Yeah. Are you sure? I mean, I thought we got the VIP tickets. We got the early.
we get the first row seating, so we get the splash.
Yeah, well, we actually got the VIP tickets, which is very important penises.
Yes, I have tried alligator. Dr. Malik says, yeah, when I was down in Miami, when we went to the Everglades and shit like that, I was with one of my exes and stuff like that, and we went down there for a bit. And we hit the Everglades, and when we were done with the Everglades and shit, we got to go to like this big fucking Indian shack. I'm sorry, Native American shack. And like, you know, fried alligator and like alligator nuggets and like all this crazy shit. And it's delicious. If you've never had alligator, let me tell you, I'm surprised we don't serve that at more restaurants because it's really pretty fucking good.
Well, if you get the word out, then people are going to go fucking, you know, they're going to go for it. Just the word's not out, probably, on alligator. Here, I'll show you a picture. I just sent it to you on Skype. That's what a fried clam place looks like in Boston. Fucking goofy shit. See that bad boy?
It's Ghost Main. What?
Oh, no. I sent you a Ghost Main video.
Sorry.
And, well, you can look at fried clams while listening to Ghost Main.
Yeah, that looks good.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, it's yummy. It's real fucking good. I put it up in the chat room, too.
That's not the clams that I'm used to seeing.
Oh yeah, no,
Let
this
me
is
see.
what we got. Well, it's the same thing as like we got roast beef sandwiches down here. Like we got that shit down pat. Where everybody you say roast beef sandwich and they think about shitty fucking like Arby's and stuff. Nah, no way, dude. Here, I'll show you a nice fucking roast beef sandwich around here.
Here, I'll show you a horrible clam image because apparently.
Oh, I've seen horrible clams in my day. Don't worry.
Oh, look, this one has a penis. Oh, that's. Well, I'll get it for you. I'll put it in the chat room so everybody can enjoy. This is what I think of when I think of clams. It's in the chat.
Let's see. Oh yeah, that clam's got a dick on it.
Right, and that's what people fucking eat. And it's like,
no, I don't eat those clams.
Oh, dude, they use their tongue and they flick it with their tongue. It's like, oh.
You just bounce it on your chin. Yeah, I know. I've seen this before.
Did you eat your cat? No, I didn't eat my fucking cat. I love my cat.
No, Mish loves his cat.
Yeah. The other one, though, the other one's a fucking hors d'oeuvre. But
I'm going to look at this picture, and some part of you is either going to think this looks delicious, or you're going to think it looks funky. I don't know. I just
don't like the consistency. Look, can I say that? It's not the flavor, it's the consistency. There's a real problem with consistency in food.
A lot of people. That's a lot of people.
Oh, that's Arby's, dude.
How dare you?
Fucking Arby's.
You watch your tone when you talk about these roast beef sandwiches.
Fucking Arby's, dude.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
That is Arby's.
Oh, you better not hit. You better hope dude doesn't hear you say that.
Shitty Arby's knockoff, dude.
No, it's not. Trust me.
Oh,
so
Jesus Christ! I'm looking at one of them. It looks like somebody dropped a load in it.
Well, some of them. Well, here's the thing. The very first one, that first roast beef sandwich you're looking at there, okay? That's when you get the beef three-way, okay? Which, by the way, three-way beef is American cheese, barbecue sauce, and mayonnaise. And it's on an onion roll.
Nah.
It's fucking good.
Nah. I'm just saying. As far as... But they're not fucking going to genetically grow your Arby's burger in a fucking lab, dude.
Oh,
that's what I'm saying.
Hey, it's it. I'm just saying. I don't know, dude. It's real good. Trust me on this. Trust me, please. We got a lot of Massachusetts.
I don't know, man. There's a lot of East Coast foods that you guys swear by, and then by the time it hits me, I'm just like,
let's see. Oh, clam box. People are saying the clam box too in Ipswich, which is, yeah, I showed them the clam box.
The clam box pictures were okay. I was all right with that. That place looked good. It reminds me of like a Hagen's or a couple other fish places we have down here.
Someone said that looks like Hope Solo's clit, but I originally read it as it looks like Han Solo's clit, and I was like, that makes it even funnier. To say it looks like Han Solo, that looks like Han Solo's clit. Oh, what?
Eat my snacks, you must.
That looks like Yoda's labia. Yeah, Cameron in the chat room, I'm assuming is a Boston guy. Waltz. What town is that in? I don't even know where it is. Dude, we're really, I'm telling you.
We're so off topic. I don't know. I'm just making fun of it. Sorry.
Yeah, it gives a shit. We did an hour and a half talking about just wrestling, which is very uncanny for us.
Yeah, this is true.
That is very, very uncanny.
I know. Now we're all fucking side salad.
Yeah. What else? So what else do we got for news?
No, well, I'm trying to remember where the fuck we came from that. This is one of those. We went down the rabbit hole.
Kai's knee. That's how we got into a conversation about roast beef and clams. Get it? Because you're fucking clams, huh?
No, we went from that to Tom Brady's injury to Peyton Manning. Oh, that's what it was. Peyton Manning getting his arm ripped off or surgically cut off and then reattached. And then other amazing technology that happened, which was growing meat from lab.
You wouldn't, let me tell you, you wouldn't want to know. Like, that surgery, I wouldn't even want to know what, you know how, like, have you ever you've had procedures done where they sit there and they tell you, they're like, this is what we're going to do, blah, 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 blah. I'd be like, don't even fucking tell me. I don't even want to know. Like, I need to get my deviated septum fixed, like, ASAP, because I'm getting to the and it bleeds for 20 minutes. But it's still, like, the biggest mistake I ever made was watching a video of somebody do it. It was a nightmare. It was like it made Saw look tame. I was like, oh God, I don't want someone to do that.
You know what we didn't get a chance to talk about? We didn't get a chance to talk about the silly Alexa Bliss angle on Monday
Oh,
And then the Mandy Rose and Naomi stuff on Tuesday.
so stupid. I mean, it's not to the people that are like offended by it, like, which of course, I mean, everybody's offended by fucking nothing.
Right.
But the right word for me to use for both of those segments is this: gratuitous. And I do clutching my pearls kind of way, but in a there was no fucking point to it kind of way. There's just really nothing to it.
Well, I think some people pointed it out too. PWP Nation actually pointed it out, but I think a lot of people saw it that they were using those angles in order to promote USA's new Temptation Island show.
Oh, really? Oh, see, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, God. So that's what it is. It's like a clever Temptation. I'm not so clever Temptation Island.
Right.
Right. Yeah. I mean, the Mandy Rose thing with her, my glass half full version of this is at least we're not pretending that Mandy Rose doesn't look like she does. Like, it's just this idea where we've kind of made everybody into a fucking eunuch, where you've got this woman walking around who's just like, is just fit as fuck. Like, beautiful fucking face, amazing body, huge fucking boobs, like, and all the guys around her are just like, oh, I don't see that. Oh, what's going on? Like, it's just,
right.
Here we are living in the world that Gillette razors would prefer in WWE, where men and women exist in a place where the guys have six-pack abs, the women have fake boobs and are beautiful, but nobody has any sort of like sexual attraction to each other.
Right.
That's just weird. Why would that happen? But I'm glad that they're at least putting that in there, but it's being done so bad, dude. Let me tell you. Is really, really a beautiful woman, but boy, does she sound fucking corny when she talks. Like that promo, she's like, she's never gonna be as hot as me. I was like, oh, God.
That was written for her, though, too. You know
I
it
don't care.
was.
That she just never...
It was totally fucking written for her. Come on. A girl knows how to talk to another girl about fucking stealing some dude.
That should never have come out of her fucking mouth. That's
what they wrote for her. It was some fucking nerd going on, I know how I want Mandy Rose to sound.
It's just, that is the epitome of somebody writing for someone that has never experienced what they're writing about at all.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that's, or not even that, like someone that can't even put themselves into that position of that, where Mandy Rose, your wife would never be hot like me.
But see, they don't have the balls to ask the questions that need to be asked in order to make some of these storylines good. Like in that storyline, the first question that Vince should have asked around that big hooters around with
so stupid.
See, how it would happen is like there would be situations where like Mandy would put him in situations where he has to step up and do more. For example, if Mandy Rose, and this was an actual situation, wanted him to get with her, she would put herself in a position of vulnerability. For example, she broke up with her boyfriend, or she broke up with her husband and her husband has left her and she's crying next to him. Now she's in a position of vulnerability. Meanwhile, planned the whole time, whether she actually broke up with the guy or whatever, she's now in a position of vulnerability to him, but to her, she's in complete control. And now he comes in to comfort her, and he gets close, and she gets close, and everything goes from there. And now, while the next day for Jay, it'll be a mistake, doesn't matter. For Mandy, she got what she wanted. All from the pseudo vision of being vulnerable.
Right. Well, dude, this is a story that could take a little while to, because where's the meat in this story other than, and by the way, if I was Jay, I'd be like, you're kind of making me look like a fucking dum-dum, where there's no layers to this added at all, like you said, in the sense of where it's like, maybe he runs into Mandy, maybe he has a couple conversations with her.
Well, yeah, that's what you got to do, is you got to build up the friendship a little bit.
Right, where he says, and Naomi's sitting there, I don't fucking trust that. No, she's not that bad. She's nice girl. Right. Oh, she's trying to get with you, and him going, no, she's
that takes time, though. That takes a little bit of time and planning. You build up a friendship. Hell, maybe even he saves Daniel Bryan spent the entire episode trying to plug Brie up with more kids. Like, that was his whole thing, which was kind of funny. He was even making cum jokes, which I was like, God damn, Daniel Bryan. He's bringing the funny. Now that John Cena's gone, he can make cum on Brie's face jokes in the first 2 minutes of the episode. I'm like, all right.
Which, by the way, if you're trying to make babies, you might want to try that elsewhere.
You're aiming at the wrong hole. That one's for eating, not for baby making. So Daniel Bryan's like just pretty much making jokes the entire fucking episode about fucking Brie and jizzing on Brie and knocking her up with babies, and he's buying her like, sex lube and all this other shit. Like, he's these special like fertile teas and like all that weird shit that you would expect to come out of Daniel Bryan. And Brie, but they were both kind of pissed off the fact that we just uprooted our entire fucking family trying to make another kid here. And you're just gonna be like, fuck you guys, I'm going where I want anyways. So they lost their home. They lost their home because they gave it up. Which, I mean, look, I understand that it's not like they're out of money or nothing like that because they can easily sell wherever they're at, but that is kind of shitty. Especially to do it to a family member. Like, we moved out here for you. You needed us. We uprooted our lives because we care about you, and now you're just like, peace.
I mean, there's a pretty good, I could wager why she's a woman who is rounding her mid to late 30s and no man wants to be with her. There's typically some behaviors that surround that. One of those, of course, is just being selfish. Yeah. That's a huge part of it.
Well, she's going to LA now. So
he's going to LA.
She's going to be with all the beautiful people.
I'm going to find someone who likes me for me in the most superficial place I can possibly muster.
Right.
That seems like a great idea.
Yeah.
I know the place where all the nice people are in the land of the narcissist. Right. That makes complete fucking sense.
So basically, Johnny Ace called up and told the Bellas that, you're going to work the Royal Rumble or whatever and be a part of this, yada, yada, yada. It's the all-women's female pay-per-view, shit like that. And I guess that was at the point where Daniel Bryan was pissed off. He's like, well, I can't fucking knock you up now. What am I going to do? I can't knock you up and have you wrestle. You can't wrestle while you're knocked up. So now she's all like,
this is ruining all my plans.
Right. Bree's like, well, maybe we can have a baby later. Well, we'll just have one later.
I gotta have a terrible wrestling match. It's way more important.
I gotta work out. I gotta mom bod. I gotta get sexy.
That's even better. Well, what's funny about that too is like he's sitting there like, yeah, gotta get pregnant, gotta have another baby. I want to have another baby. And you're thinking to yourself for a second, you're like, dude, all's well and good there, but did you ask her if she wanted another kid?
He doesn't give a shit at this point, dude. He wants to name another kid. That's what he said in the beginning. I can't wait to name another one. I was like, what the fuck? Daniel Bryan, he really is funny. Like, Daniel Bryan, if there ever comes a day that dude leaves WWE and does a shoot interview, I'm first in line to buy that shit. Because he's actually a really funny dude. Because that his responses aren't written for him. They're really off the cuff. A lot of his responses are off the cuff. And he's so sarcastic, but he's so bright-eyed at the same time that it really comes off even funnier. Because Daniel Bryan, obviously everybody in the fucking chat room knows who Daniel Bryan is. But Daniel Bryan is such a hippie, vegan-looking dude, such a happy-go-lucky kind of guy, that you don't even expect thoughts like, I can't wait to jizz on your face, kind of comments to come out of him. Like, it's totally left and right field at the same time. And he doesn't do it in a crass way, like I just said, but still, he made the same kind of fucking point. And it's hilarious to see it.
I can't wait to name another one.
Yeah, he's got a good character. He's a funny person. He really is.
He's like, I'm thinking another one. We're going to name her Beady Bird. That's a great name, Dave. That's a great name you got there, Daniel.
This is Birdie B, and that's Big Bird. There you go.
Yeah, we decided to name this one Squirrely Guinea Pig.
I mean, he does have the fucking... I mean, they really make him seem like he's a rabbit, and he just wants to go all the time. They really do. Yeah. But other than him, there's really no saving grace to the show. It has gotten worse. I guess it was down 155,000 viewers from previous premieres.
That's it? I'm surprised it's not even telling more.
Hey, now that John Cena's not there, I'm sure that that's the only reason that this season premiere even got as many as it did, is because a lot of people were interested, like myself, to see how far Nikki Bella's composure has fallen. But I don't know, dude. It's garbage. Next week it's I think it's Nia Jax and Tamina, and I don't know who else was there. I think it was Bailey. They're gonna try and set her up or some shit. Natty, maybe. I don't know.
Wait, Bailey? They're trying to set Bailey?
No, it's trying to set Nikki.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, it's all about Nikki. Nah, it's all about Nikki now. Brie is such a fucking back post.
Oh, she's just an afterthought now.
Yeah.
Now she's just over there waiting for Daniel Bryan loads. What's going to be the next double animal named child that they have? I mean, I think that's really important. That's the really big question.
Oh, God damn. Who just gave me this? Who is the... Oh, Mars is Mayhem. You are a saint, sir. So he just gave me something, which I didn't see, because I don't normally go to Cosmopolitan. But apparently, Nikki Bella did an interview on Cosmopolitan, where the title headline reads, Nikki Bella admits that she calls John Cena after every date, which feels very uncomfy.
Well, yeah. Why wouldn't it be?
I let him know everything. He's known every date I've been on. I have so much respect for him. And this breakup wasn't bad. It didn't end bad. We didn't do bad things to each other. I feel like I'm reading Heath Ledger almost. Like I'm doing the Joker. It's like Nikki Bella Joker. Nikki Bella Joker.
Sounds like she's still trying to, she's trying to control him still a little bit.
Of course she is.
I mean, that to me, like, whenever you talk about these situations, like when everybody was like, it was abusive of John Cena to say after they broke up that he wanted to go back and have kids with her. It's like, is it not also abusive then to finally get what you want from somebody and then immediately reject that after you fucking badgered him for years?
She was calling John Cena while he was in China dick deep into small Asian girls making sacrificial noises to the ungod. And going, yeah, tell me more.
just making squeaky toy noises.
He was literally painting the walls with semen and blood. John Cena was the rock star of Asian vagina there while he was in China.
And he's picking up the phone, listening to her, just laughing.
And she's like, oh, he's
puts
nice
the phone on mute and just listens.
He's just plowing away, sweat dripping off his forehead in buckets.
She's like, I think his name was Kyle. He seems all right. I mean, I don't know. Like, he took us to get tapas, and they were okay. I mean, I don't really know what to do. I mean, he asked if he wanted to go to a Clippers game on Tuesday. Tuesday's going to be a really long day. I got to wake up at like 10 in the morning and go to hot yoga. And then after that, I'm going to go get my nails done. And then after I get my nails done, I got to go to Whole Foods and get lunch. And John Cena's just laying pipe. Just mushing her into a wall. The whole time listening to this fucking nightmare of a conversation. Did you pass out on
Shut the fuck up! Suck my cock! What was that, Nikki?
So I went online to try to I had to pay this parking ticket, which, like, I totally missed you because you used to do that for me.
Shh, shut up. What was that, Nikki? I'm sorry, I missed that.
So like, you need to help me pay for this parking ticket? I don't know what to do. So it asked me to put in, like, an authentication number. Is that the numbers on the back of the card? Or the front of the card?
よくあることですから。
What's that noise? It kind of sounds like.
It's just the TV. I'm in China. It's just the TV.
It kind of sounds like Oscar jumping on a trampoline.
よかったら私が処理しましょうか。なんで。
Anyways, so she goes on, dude. I gotta read the rest of this fucking article so we can get the fuck out of here. But she says, I let him know everything. He's on every date I've been on. I have so much respect for him, and the breakup wasn't bad. It didn't end bad. We didn't do bad things to each other, but he's so very close with my family. Anything I knew was coming out. Anything I've done, I've let him know because I just don't want him to ever be hurt by it or shocked by it. And I know that's something I don't have to do, but that's just who I am. That right there, folks, that is atypical psychology 101 control.
Oh, yeah.
Anything I knew that was coming out, anything that I've done, I let him know because I just don't want him to ever be hurt by it. So a guy who's supposedly in love with you as much as you were supposedly in love with him, and you're going to tell him about your boyfriends and people that you see and all these dates and stuff like that, and you're expecting he's going to be like, oh, it's okay. I don't mind envisioning the woman that I spent the last 9 years with, that I let live in my house and sign my contracts. You know, a person that I actually slept with and fucking, we were bonded, we were together. A person I actually was willing to engage myself to. A person I was willing to have children with, even though I didn't want to be married, even though I didn't want children, is now telling me about her sexual ventures with other men. Yeah, no fucking problem. That's great. Doesn't hurt at all. Doesn't hurt at all.
Yeah, this doesn't feel manipulative at all. This doesn't feel like a fucking weird psychotic situation.
That's a bitch. She's a bitch. She's a complete fucking bitch. She's trying. Let's not forget, she's the one that broke up the relationship with old boy, okay? He's the one that was jumping through hoops for her. Granted, to be fair, she jumped through hoops for him back when she was signing the contracts and shit like that. But now when it came down to the very end of the relationship and they ran into these struggles, John Cena was willing to give up, his bachelor life in order to get married to her. And then she said that wasn't good enough. And then he said, well, what's good enough? And she's like, I want babies. And then it broke off again. And we saw that one on TV. And then 2 weeks later, he went on like Good Morning America or some shit like that. And he said, I'll give her babies. I'll give her fucking babies. I want babies with this woman. I want this woman to be in my life forever. And you know what she does? I'm better off alone. You fucking cunt. You fucking evil woman. You piece of human fucking garbage.
Well, because it wasn't her idea.
Well, it was her idea. She's the one that said she wanted babies.
I'm saying that time it wasn't her idea.
Ugh.
The first times it was her idea, but when it became not her idea, then it was a bad idea. Get it?
Mm. And now she's going to call him. She broke up with him, and now she's going to call him and tell him the details of her dating relationships, of her sexual encounters, and that's supposed to be okay? I'm surprised he still picks up the phone. I would have blocked her fucking number already.
Yep. Yeah. Well, you know what? Once again, it's a matter of two people here. I agree with this. It takes two to toxic.
No,
sure.
at this point, dude, I hope everything we joke about him just genetically fucking over China by just irreparably just damaging it with all of his gallons of semen. I hope John Cena has 1,000,001 Chinese babies.
I hope he's like Cotton Hill Or just someday, just 40 kids are going to show up and they're going to all look like Chinese John Cena.
I mean, he didn't deserve that, dude. Look, we've made fun of John Cena for years, but as a dude, he didn't deserve that. That's some scandalous ass bitchy shit. That's a horrible person. Nikki Bella is not just a bad woman; she's a bad person.
Right. That's just a shitty thing to do to somebody. Any way you cut it. Mm-hmm. Well, I don't want them to find out on their own. Oh, stop.
Right.
Stop. Because here's the thing. In reality, like nowadays, you're going to find out anyways just because of social media. Oh, no, I want to be the person to tell you. No, you're just being a douche.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's it. You're just being shitty.
Hey, for people that haven't checked it out, Gareth in the chat room, Gareth Nelson, has a wonderful AEW shirt with a picture of Vince McMahon busting out of it. And if you haven't seen it yet, it's pretty fucking fantastic. I'm sure, there he goes. He popped it up in the chat room right now. And I'll put it on the link for the download. But I think it's on like Teespring or one of those sites, like one of those outside sites. It's not available on Pro Wrestling Tees, so it's not part of them. But it's on Teespring, and we're kind of doing something a little special here because we don't usually do stuff like this. But I figured, you know what? People have fun with this. If you purchase a shirt, we will donate, I believe, up to a total of $100, which we're a smaller show. We're not fucking, we don't have Tony Khan's 100 million. But we'll donate up to $100 for the total of shirts to water.org. And what water.org is, it's a charity that gives clean drinking water to everyone in the fucking world. It's simple. It's not a political charity. You don't have to worry about that. It's just water. It's kind of like Toys for Tots. Like, who the hell ever gets down on Toys for Tots? So, just a simple thing, you know. If you guys want, totally up to you. It's just for us. We don't get any payment from it at all. It's totally from our end. It's completely charity. And I believe most of the money goes to Teespring anyways for their designing of the shirt or whatever. They really have kind of a high cost, but whatever. But I just figured it would be nice to do it. And I figured, you know, somebody asked us, why don't we do more charities and stuff like that? That's one of the things that I wanted to change for Wrestling Soup over the year. I kind of want to make it a little bit more of a regular thing for all of us with little things like that. So if you want to help out water or you just want a silly t-shirt, one of those meme t-shirts, those parody t-shirts, take a look at Gareth Nelson's link and maybe pick up a couple.
Be much appreciated. Help out some people. And in the meantime, let people know where you stand with this whole silly shit that's going on.
Right.
Oh, and you're wrestling in 2019.
Sure. And if you want to take a look at water, go to water.org. That's literally their address. So can't get much simpler than that. Other than that, I think we're going to get ready to wrap it up. John did a fantastic AMA on the global balding this week. A lot of questions and a lot of love to him and from him on the show. We did a Frank and Gus show where we talked about the Gillette commercial, which I know a lot of people wanted us to talk about tonight, but I think we let it all out of the bag on Tuesday.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's it's a real serious, very controversial thing here.
Sure.
I'll leave it at this. It's with a little bit more time to ponder it. It's an advertising campaign.
Yeah.
It's an ad. I mean, anybody that's sitting around going, it's this, it's that, it's blah, 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 blah. Ads are made to manipulate you and make you feel a certain way. You're a consumer. They see you as a consumer. They're not on your side. They're not against you. They're for whatever makes them money, in their opinion, in that moment.
Yep.
So getting all one way or the other, there's no need for that.
Right.
There's no need for that. It's a fucking advertisement. And I posted something on Twitter saying, advertising is not art. And someone said to me, "Oh, what do you mean advertising is not art? You're going to tell me it's not art?" I go, "Okay, so I'll go take a picture from a National Geographic, and you can go get a print ad for Taco Bell, and we'll put them next to each other, and we'll say which one's more art." I'll take a guess on which one will win.
Right. Advertising isn't art. Art is almost like a selfless thing. I think people have a real confusion about that. I mean, I'm not saying that, art can't make you money. It absolutely can. But I've always felt personally that art, and this sounds cornball as shit, art comes from the heart. And the heart of Gillette, the heart of a razor blade, not really anything to do with being a toxic male.
Right. It's a product. They're selling you a product.
It's not it's not a message. It'd be one thing if they were, I don't know. It's just, I don't know. That's just my opinion on it. But
it's a product. Just remember that. Whenever you try to take something too seriously from somebody, if billionaires are selling it to you, they don't give a shit about how they're selling it.
Well, look at it like this. If they in turn said, okay, everything that we sell, is going to charity, then it would be different.
Right,
I think, in my opinion. But other than that, what else we got? Make sure you guys check out the RCWR show with Lee Sanders. I'm probably going to be on the show with him either next Tuesday or the Tuesday after. We'll have to see. We got Wookie on with us next week.
Yes.
So that should be a lot of fun. Obviously, the Don, Tony, and Kevin Castle show. You can check them out on Mondays and Tuesdays now. I believe next Tuesday, obviously next Monday is a regular DTKC show. Next Tuesday will be Don, Tony, and Kevin Castle covering SmackDown Live. So that should be fun. I've done the last few, so I think Kevin's going to step up. I know it's been kind of difficult with him with work and stuff like that. So also check out Jason Solomon, the Salamonster Sounds Off. A lot of new videos this week. So Jason's got like 5 new YouTube videos up this week. It's pretty cool. Also make sure to check out the WNC show live after Wrestling Soup. Check out Get in the Corner, our friends over there, Yuck Nasty, Dogger Baby. Check out the Texas Podcast Massacre. Check out B Show. Who else we got? There's a bunch. Russell Erotica.
THT in there. We got THT, right?
Shaheen and Boxman, absolutely. But I think that's pretty much it. With that said, much love.
Thank you very much, guys. Go Pats.
Oh, come on now. Nobody wants that.
Yes.
PF.